Only 12% of the tourists who come to Bhutan venture beyond Thimphu to the mysterious eastern side, the Tang and Bumtang valleys. The guest house at Ugancholing, an undiscovered national treasure, welcomed only 200 visitors in 2006. When we stopped at the Damkar festival, I counted just 35 Westerners among hundreds of villagers and festival dancers. This sparse population of tourists is one of the things that will help make this tour so memorable for you. You are going to a place on this planet where very few foreigners have gone, truly the road less traveled. We have been able to form alliances and friendships with important lamas and village elders who provide us with some very special photo opportunities. I call this trip to the east, this motorcade of photographers, the journey. You will return from this journey with remarkable images that will forever remind you of the 2 weeks you once spent above the clouds. And now, the journey. Most seasoned world travelers who are also photographers avoid tours on a bus because fellow travelers may not share the same passion for photography. So our tour travels 4 to a car, you and a companion, an English-speaking guide and driver. That way you can halt the car at a moment's notice when your photographic eye sees an opportunity. You won't miss scenes like these. We came around a curve and I spotted this little boy using a prayer flag for a swing. I shouted, "Stop!" and my driver immediately pulled over and I got these shots. If I'd been on a bus, I would have had to have watched this scene go right on by. This road is also the main footpath and domestic animal trail, so photo ops are around every corner. We met this farmer walking with his prize bull, and he posed for photographs. Then we gave him a token of appreciation, some reading glasses and a Polaroid. We actually gave him 2 Polaroids because he noticed that his bull wasn't in the first one. He was very proud of that bull. These tiny cone-shaped clay amulets are known as tsatsas and are made for several reasons, the most important of which is to guide a departed soul to paradise. Family members of the deceased call on the services of a lama who mixes ashes from the burned effigy of the deceased with holy clay and presses it into a stamped metal form of an ancient design. The dried tsatsas is then deposited in or near a holy place, like this cave, where it is believed a deity resides, or the walls that line the approaches to monasteries. Instead of inducing sadness, tsatsas are meant more as a token to illustrate the Buddhist belief in the impermanent nature of life and man's quest to experience nirvana. We have been fortunate on every tour to come across a family of yak herders who take care of 50 head of yaks that belong to the monks at Trongzazong. These herders break camp in May and move their yaks high up into the Himalayas, where they don't usually run across other Bhutanese, much less foreign visitors. We always bring gifts they can use, like cooking pots and knives, and they respond by inviting us in for butter tea, making sure we don't leave empty-handed. We encourage our travelers who look to buy souvenirs not to shop in gift shops in Thimphu, but wait until they have personal interactions with herders and farmers, for it is then that the most meaningful items can be purchased. These herders don't have a source of cash, and a few dollars spent on a yak bell or a handmade yak wool rope means a cherished souvenir for us and some welcome spending money for them. Most Bhutanese men carry large knives made from truck springs. These are not for protection, but for chopping firewood and peeling betel nut. While the meaning of the word Himalaya is home of snow, one should not think that Bhutan's landscape is made up solely of permanently covered snow-capped peaks or alpine scrub zones. Several distinctly different biological realms converge between the low-lying rainforest jungles in the south and the alpine meadows in the north. The altitude difference is nearly 24,000 feet. We will be traveling between these two extremes, through the heartland of Bhutan, where vast rhododendron and conifer forests grow. You will see how this tremendous biodiversity has been able to take hold over the millennium. Within the global scientific community, Bhutan's list of rare and endangered wildlife and fauna is legendary. Bengal tigers have been sighted above 2,900 meters. Snow leopards, golden langur, blue sheep, red panda, black-necked crane. Over 600 species of birds, 70 of them discovered in the last 10 years. 5,000 plants, many of which contain medicinal properties. There are rare orchids, carnivorous plants, and 50 species of rhododendrons to round out the list. Evidence of Bhutan's deep devotion to Buddhism can be seen in the dense forests that you will pass through. The Buddhist approach to nature is a rare reverence and compassion for all forms of life, and by limiting their consumption to basic needs such as food, shelter, and clothing, they have protected Bhutan's forest resources from the clear-cutting that is taking place around the globe. Also, many of Bhutan's scant 600,000 population believe that certain deities live in their lakes and rivers, and even in certain boulders and trees, so the landscapes around these places have benefited from this reverence for resident saints. "90% of Bhutanese are subsistence farmers, and 50% of them live more than a day's walk from the nearest paved road. For centuries, Bhutanese women have used hand looms to weave everything from family clothing to saddle pads, reflecting their distinct identity in a rainbow of colors and patterns. While the craft has traditionally been more a functional one, producing textiles used in everyday life, weaving has given women an outlet for artistic expression in a country where most arts and crafts, like wood carving and painting, is mainly the realm of men. In 2007, one of our travelers stopped along the road and bought this beautiful sash for a lady's kira. I took this photo and it ended up on the cover of Tashi Delek magazine, the in-flight magazine for Royal Druk Air. Here, the caretaker of the Trongsa watchtower looks out over the Trongsa Zong. So what happened to the saffron-colored roof we have been seeing in the previous images? Well, in 2004, the Crown Prince was invested as the governor of Trongsa as training for the throne, which he inherits in 2008. So they painted the roof the royal color, crimson. Novice monks receive chits for attending prayers and training sessions, and then turn those in for small amounts of cash to buy personal items. This is a Tibetan Buddhist philosophy debate. They argue about subjects such as the nature of emptiness, and, as in this case, if the moon reflects on a lake, is there really one moon or two? Bhutan is changing quickly, so you should see the land of the Thunder Dragon as soon as you can. To join us on the journey down this road less traveled, go to rainbowphototours.com and click on reservations.